So we only need to get a few steps in before we leave the industrial estate vibe behind, and it's soon open rural Dorset, and it's gorgeous. Perfect weather for it today. It's an excellent show of rhododendrons along here. Now, I've got mixed feelings about rhododendrons. They're an invasive species, not native to England, and do tend to take over a bit, but this time of year they do add a nice dash of colour, so it's nice to see. So I've come out with my dog Poppy today to explore a new walk in the Poole area, new for this season, new for spring. It's called the Cordite Trail. So cordite is the explosive propellant used in bullets and shells and all those sorts of things, and it's essential, of course, to winning a war. We did it twice, thanks largely to the efforts of this place, or what's left of it. Every now and again you see the remnant of a building or some piles of masonry and rubble, like this area in here. Obviously a sizable and well built building at one time. Now it's been razed to the ground. Just huge chunks of masonry. Nature is doing its utmost to take it back, and unfortunately most of it still remains inaccessible due to various hazards in the area. It's a large area, huge, and hopefully one day we'll get to see it, but right now we can content ourselves with this generous offering from the volunteers that have worked so hard to bring this to us. So there are clues to why this is called the Cordite Trail, scattered all around us. Everywhere is concrete and steel and remnants of buildings just peeking out. But this area along here, with its beautiful views of Poole Harbour, was practically inaccessible to all but the most adventurous. You can't really get onto the old Cordite factory site. That's out of bounds to the public. This area was technically accessible, but it was difficult to get to, plus it was a quagmire. Much of the work that was done by the volunteers was to dig these drainage trenches and runways. This area is extremely boggy, so if you ever did venture down this far from Holton Heath, no matter what time of year, you would have found this footpath in a very different state. Absolutely impassable with anything but wellies, just up to the ankles in mud year round. So, I mean, presumably this was all dug out by hand, or maybe a mini digger, but certainly these bits by hand. And now it's spring now, and the summer, and the leaves are well and truly out, which is making the views a little bit harder to see from where I am at the moment, but there's a tantalising glimpse every now and again through the trees. And on the other side, proper Dorset farmland. So a lot of this walk actually follows the the course of the old railway track that was here. So the completed cordite was loaded onto train wagons, taken about a quarter of a mile down the way, and loaded onto boats from the jetty that was there, the pier. Remnants are still visible of that, but looks like the volunteers have unearthed quite a few of the railway sleepers here, and presumably they carry on under the ground for quite a way. Just by estimating the age of this silver birch here, you can see how long it's been since this railway track was used. Now I've just popped out from the trees and I've just been treated to my first unobscured view of Poole Harbour. Let's go check it out. So this is a view that not many people would have seen until now, thanks to the work of those volunteers bringing it all to us. Extremely grateful. So in a couple of months this whole area is going to be great for blackberry picking. If you can beat the birds to it. The only limit I think will be your own endurance. And to help with that, some thoughtfully placed benches. So we just moved on from the viewpoint a little bit, and let's see what we can see here. So that's on. So what we can see here is an RSPB nature reserve. So you can walk around it, most of it, not all of it. But on that side of the isthmus, there was a large anti-aircraft battery, just out of interest, to protect this cordite factory. Those large hills in the background, that was the Purbex. And directly below there, roughly where I'm pointing now, is the mouth of the Wareham River. And here we are approaching the end of, or the current end of the Cordite Trail. Not a long walk, but it's an interesting one and it's quite unique. Here we go, it's a better view of that beautiful vista. There's Arn, the Purbex, and the mouth of the river that goes through Wareham. And directly below us, the railway track. And that's the main Waterloo to Weymouth line. Now originally there was a plan to continue this path across here and down to the old pier where they used to load the cordite. But unfortunately Network Rail decided to remove the bridge buttresses and they've made that a lot more difficult. But hopefully one day we'll be able to get that done as well. So let me give you a 360 tour. So this is where the trail ends currently. And it overlooks a very commanding view of the railway tracks here. And this part of Poole Harbour and the Purbex beyond. The RSPB Nature Reserve right in the background. And then this earthwork here was where the railway track that led from the Cordite factory down to the pier would have been on, and it would have crossed this main line, Waterloo to Weymouth line. And then behind us, we have this beautiful farmland. You can see Beacon Hill in the background, which commands this whole area really. And back to the path. Yeah, it's good. Looks like it's high tide, and there's a little nice warm breeze in the air, and that's creating a little bit of a disturbance of the water, so you've got a nice lapping sound coming off the pebble beach. If only it was accessible. It's right there, just can't quite get to it. It's tantalizing, but one day. Now, if you're a twitcher with a telescope or a decent set of binocs, I think you could spend a good little while here, quite comfortably. So I guess it's also good if you're a train spotter. Anyway, time to tear myself away, start the return journey. See it all from a different perspective. What I've really liked about this walk is, although it's short, there's a lot of variety. You've got the beautiful open fields to one side, harbour views, the Purbex in the background on the other. We've got woodland, there's open space and sunlight, and here and there, if you keep your eyes open, you can see dashes of our important history. So I'd say it's well worth a visit. Poppy, sit. Wait. Go on in. This really is a gorgeous walk, especially on a day like today. It's bright and sunny, not too hot, like nice little breeze in the air. I've got the place to myself. Something magical about being here, which has been inaccessible for so long, and it's finally you can be here and enjoy the quiet. You wouldn't think there was an industrial estate right behind me. Beautifully peaceful. Wind in the trees, we've got the birds in the sky tweeting in the trees. Yeah, it's very nice. It's a strange mix of this old dilapidated industry of warfare and this beautifully calm and isolated spot. Scenic views all around. There's something really special about this walk. So every now and again we find a lot of this material which they've used to fill potholes and even level up this path, but this is clinker, and it's a byproduct from the cordite making process. And if you've ever had a coal fire with a back boiler, this will be familiar to you, clogging up your works. But there's plenty of it about, so it's good to see they've used it to good effect. Creates good drainage. So the published plan is to continue this walk on past the furthest point, and along the railway embankment over to Rockley and beyond. I can only hope that comes to fruition, but it's going to be a lot of work. Obviously there was a lot of backbreaking work invested here, but that work must have been at least equaled fighting the bureaucracy. Getting a footpath dedicated like this can't have been easy. But the payoff would be great. If they managed to do it, people are in for a real treat with those views.